All right, so what is up? What is up? It is Lee 3PO, also known as Leon from the platform. And today I have Achilles with me. Introduce yourself.
What's up? It's Akeyles. All my links and everything will be down at the bottom, so check us both out.
All right,
That's
so
it.
we are doing this, I guess, mini episode to kind of like talk about various topics that come up throughout the week. And today we're going to discuss something that a lot of people are on different sides of, I guess, when it comes to their feelings on this issue. But basically, Shadow of War is releasing with microtransactions that will allow gamers, I guess, to purchase different forms of in game currency and loot boxes that pretty much upgrade your gear and your XP. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. The
So,
gist, and also your followers too. Like the people that you get in your war will also um upgrade. You can upgrade their stuff
so
too.
like, how do you feel about it?
Ultimately, I think it's fine because you be able to do this in game. So the only people who would be purchasing is are people that just don't have the time to grind out. Um, a lot of people are complaining about it, but at the same time you know they buy gear and stuff like that, or they buy $200 worth of Destiny dances, but then they come and then because this game never had it, but then they still don't understand how the game is gonna be, and that this is a whole new system that they're adding to the game.
Yeah, I definitely feel like it's not as serious as I've seen it done in the past with some other games. But I think, a lot of people say they're against microtransactions, and when it's other games that they enjoy, they'll purchase it. So it's like, to me, to kind of be like, against it right now at this stage in the game, it's like, what are you really trying to do to stop this from happening? Like, I'm trying to understand where gamers are going with this, as far as like trying to like protest it, and we're not going to buy any more microtransactions ever again, and all gamers have to like put their wallets together to send this message to the game industry.
But and then ultimately, it doesn't happen. There'll be uproar about it. There'll be people talking. But I guarantee you, the main people that are talking are probably going to be the ones that buy the actual loot crate when it comes out.
I definitely feel that way. um, to me, it's one of those things that some people will do in secrecy. Like, they won't even really share with you if they're really actually doing it. Um, One of the things that I kind of wanted to do is, if like, taking this, I guess, out of context a little bit, or taking, I guess, the whole issue of microtransactions in games away from the subject of Shadow of War. Do you feel like microtransactions kind of dampen the creativity that developers could have if it didn't exist?
The way I feel like there's two sides of the coin, right? Because if you go back in the old days, there were, skins and things that you got for maybe collecting all the webs, or doing a certain challenge. You'll get these skins, and that has gone away completely now because of microtransactions. And then the other side of the coin is that game development definitely costs a lot more, and gamers have put their foot down on that $60 price. They're saying, we won't buy a game that's $100, but we will buy a game that's $60 with the $40 season pass. you know and I feel like it's a cause and effect kind of thing. It's the developers trying to find the middle ground and seeing how can they make more money by how can they make more money and not upset the gamer at the same time? It's gonna be hard. Anytime that they ask for more money, it's gonna be any kind of backlash. Just like now, even with the microtransactions that we see in Shadow War, there's a big backlash on it. But that's not gonna stop people. It's just people basically crying because it's not gonna stop them from buying the game. They're like, man, it sucks. You know, it sucks that I gotta do microtransactions in this game because I already spent $60 for this game, and nobody takes in the fact that how much money. That's why I said I feel like some games should be cost a lot more money just based on production. Some of the games that they throw out at $60, we can all agree, aren't probably $60 games, $40 games, $30 games. But some of the games that are really high quality that give you a lot of stuff, free updates, and they come out at a $60 price tag, and whatchamacallit, and the developers suffer from it.
Well, one of the things that I find interesting about this generation is that they don't really know what it's like to buy a game and everything is in the game already. Like, they've never really experienced that. If you were born into the generation where, it was like the PS3 and 360 era, you probably never experienced that with the game. And one of the things that I also think is interesting is games back like during when I was growing up, like for like the Super Nintendo, they used to cost $70. They were $69.99. They weren't $59.99 unless they went down in price, And I think what really happened is I don't think games necessarily got cheaper. I just think that the business model for how these companies sell games has evolved and changed. So instead of just selling you a game as one product, as a single product, these companies look at a game as a time period. And for a certain amount of time, they're going to invest into a game, and they're going to put different things into that game, services and features that they expect to profit from. And before there was internet service on consoles, companies didn't really have the ability to do that. So I think that's really what changed, the business model. And I think there are people that are torn because if you look at some companies, they have really bad practices when it comes to microtransactions. And sometimes they'll do things that are anti-consumer.
I totally agree, but let me go ahead and knock out something that somebody might say. Like they might say, "Oh, back in the day, they used cartridges and it was more to make," but they don't ever look at, hey, look at a 3 year or what? How long was that dog bird game? How long was it developing on there? 10 years.
Last Guardian?
For Yeah, Last Guardian, 10 years, and they're selling the game at 60, which the game is arguably, they didn't. It probably wasn't a $60 game, but still, 10 years of development is the main thing I want to focus on compared to how long a development cycle on a 64 game would have been. Is nowhere close.
We don't know the development times for those games either. To be fair, there were other costs that I'm sure they had to, take care of back then that they don't have to worry about so much today. Like, I think there were things that were like
Yeah,
good that they benefited off of that today would probably be like completely different, as far as like how much the parts cost to make those products and just
yeah, that's why I was saying like the cartridge, like sure it got cheaper when they moved it to disc, but there are more costs now and there are more developers, working on games. It's grown, so of course the price should have been gone up, but because of the backlash that people are getting. But yeah, I do agree. I totally agree with what you were saying.
one of the things that I wanted to touch base on was I think right now people kind of have to accept where we are, I guess. when it comes to microtransactions. They're kind of here to stay. And even though like I'm an old school gamer where I kind of wish we could go back to getting everything on, one, I guess, disc, I also understand that, there are different, jobs in the industry. They do things a lot differently, and there are other costs that they take on, but they also have the ability now to make more money as well. So it's kind of like a give and take, like a gift and curse type thing.
Yeah, definitely. And um, before a certain game came out, DLC was very quality. It was very quality DLC. They dropped maps only after the game was They waited for the game to finish, release, and then they started working on the maps, you know. And think I don't know. It was just a certain game that came out and just pushed the market to this lazy
I
development
like mobile
DLC.
games, and as much as I think there are some awesome developers that have made some great mobile games, like iPhone games and stuff like that, I think the business model for a lot of mobile games is based off of just getting people addicted and just maxing out, their cards, their credit cards. Like I've heard people, you know, lose their, marriage over spending money on some of these, games. And it's like ridiculous, like I've heard of stories people spending thousands of dollars on like Candy Crush. And so when you look at the big, development teams, they're probably looking at these small development teams that are spending like chump change to make these really cheaply made games, and they're making billions. And they're like, shit. I mean, look at Angry Birds. They have an Angry Birds movie. They have a toy line, clothes. I'm pretty sure that it's beyond all the things I listed. They probably have furniture and, the whole nine. But, you gotta like look at the fact that these companies are just money hungry. I mean, you can't blame them for that. That's the point. They're out to make money, and that's why I kind of feel like, it's kind of here to stay. I mean, if you buy it, you support it. That's how I feel.
Definitely, I definitely agree with that.
And as I think there are times where, it's done wrong, and I think that's when people should, I guess, be up in arms. Like if you see a company literally just trying to take advantage of people, then yeah, I totally agree. Like you should have something to say about it. But for Shadow of War, it doesn't really seem that way. It just seems like they're trying to get people who probably struggle with those types of games and just kind of want to experience the fun aspects of it and don't want to have to spend all day trying to grind to get to those parts. So
Yeah, and that's the thing. We got people. That's the thing about gaming this generation. We have tons of different gamers. We have people who probably only have 10 hours of gameplay during the whole week, and they probably want to play Shadow War. They play Shadow of Mordor, but Shadow War is it's a bigger game, so they have a bigger strategy, and it looks like it's a lot of more role playing or RPG elements into it, where you have to level, and a lot of people just don't have that time to grind. So does that mean, hey, you can't play that game anymore? Or if you do play that game, your 10 hours of your week is going to have to dedicate to grinding, and and that's going to affect how you feel on the game, when you could have just bought microtransactions because you happen to have enough money to do that.
exactly. I mean, I think we pretty much covered everything. Is there anything else that needs to be said on this topic?
I mean, no, but I would like to hear, I guess, the community's opinion on it. Um, you know, Let us know how you guys feel on the whole microtransaction thing. Is it a bad thing that Shadow of War? And also let us know why you think it's a bad thing. Don't Also drop a like if you like this whole new format. We're thinking about getting doing this weekly. It might not just be us two. It might be pressing the mic, or Danny and Terry,
Right.
you know.
'Cause everybody has a
So
lot
go
to
ahead
say on this, so
and give us.
I'm sure somebody's gonna tune in and have a comment or something.
Yeah. Yeah, so go ahead and just let us know down at the bottom if you want us to continue this. And I guess till next time, I'm
Thanks for
out.
watching.